what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Arknights X Ave Mujica reaction. I didn't expect to see more of these, but Para, my executive producer, was like, you know what? Hold my beer. I've got a few more songs. So this is Playtime and Sweet Dreams Must Come True. He did tell me that these were related and what the context of them playing is, so I'm at least clued into that. And I suppose I'll be doing my thing and listening to these, doing the first one, taking a gap to talk about it, doing the second one. You know how this goes by now, and I suppose without further ado, let's go! Ooh. Starting out a little strong. Oh. Never mind, took a step back. A little detuned. Obviously on purpose. That slight detuning, that like, well, hand-carved musician. Okay, it came out strong. Okay. All right. That's fairly detuned. A glockenspiel. I love the choice of instruments here because they would be like naturally a little bit detuned with how they're made. And their timbre is very specific, you know? They have that fall off. It's like, I want to say it almost feels Haunted Carnival, but it's a little bit too regal for that. A little Tim Burton-y. And in that, of course, sorry, I got a little caught up in that. I was gonna say Danny Elfman by sound, not Tim Burton. He's not the composer. See, like, there's such a strange whimsicality to it. Like those stings. That's such a Danny Elfman thing to do. I didn't expect that sound. I mean, I should have expected that when the song was called Playtime. But I didn't know what the overall vibe of this collaboration was because I'd only heard the one song from it so far. But now I'm starting to put it together. Now, like, the outfits they were wearing in the video I saw and all the, like, the thumbnail pictures I had to look up, now it's starting to make sense why everyone was dressed like that, with a song like this being a part of it that totally tracks. All right, so this song is kind of fun in a general sense, purely because it's like, I mean, obviously, like I said, very Danny Elfman, Oingo Boingo flavored sort of sound, very bouncy. It's bouncy, you know, but dark bouncy. That dark carnival energy is still definitely there. This one, I believe, is in F minor. So we have that. That's kind of the root of everything that happens here. And a lot of D flat as well as D flat minor, but kind of mostly D flat. It's kind of an interesting relationship they have through this song because it's kind of the crux of the entire thing. The whole song cycles around those two. And also we get a little bit of a bounce up there, and I'll kind of get to that in a bit. But like basically that, as well as C and G, which just kind of act as ways to ground these other ones. There are obviously other things going on in here. We get an A flat and a B flat as well, just to kind of add as, again, kind of connectors more or less, but there is a lot of the D flat. Again, D flat minor is kind of in there too. The F is still the F minor. That's kind of the core. So we just have this relationship being everything. And the first chord progression we actually do get does use the relationship of the D flat minor and not the D flat, which comes almost immediately after that first passage. And you could probably recognize that from hearing the song. It's just that dark little twist to this chord, because D flat doesn't have that much dark energy to it, but like, oh, D flat minor does, you know? It really crushes itself against that. And we do have, obviously, like I said, the C and the G, but that's kind of how this works out. We have this, it goes down to C, it goes back up, and then it goes to G, and back down to C before we restart on that F minor, and just variants of that, basically. Variants of all of that. And as we get further into the song, we do have a relationship of the F minor going into the D flat and then up to an E flat. I didn't bring that one up earlier because I totally forgot it in the midst of the A flat and B flat relationship, but like it's in there, and it's not important. It is definitely it is the connector in here between the A flat too. And you gotta have that E flat in there, because if you didn't, the whole song would sound just different. Like having is a completely different feel from, as you could probably tell, it just skips way too much, and there's not that chromatic step up that the rest of the song kind of digs its heels into. It really sinks its teeth into that process, because everything in this song is chromatically dense. There's so much movement, and it's all super close together. Little half-step adjustments that really rely on these other chords being utilized to introduce new notes, so you're not lost when you get to the next spot and go, wait, what happened between A and B, you know, or in this case, maybe B and C. But to talk further on that weird relationship I mentioned between the F minor and this higher D flat, that's just something, I'll actually play it down here. That happens in this song. It is like the octave jump there. You have to have that. If I were to play this within the same octave, you can hear how that doesn't quite work the same way. Having this jump is a part of how loose and free this part sounds, and then it does drop to the A flat and the B flat before going back up to it. So like that's kind of the main part of that song, is that section there, when it has that like breakout from the F minor to the D flat. That's the cool part about this song. It's, again, so chromatically close, but when they separate as much as they do, you really feel that. That direction is stark. You cannot do that in any other part of the song, otherwise the intensity of skipping between that octave jump wouldn't hit nearly as hard. So that's what they did very well here. And again, by utilizing things like that E flat carrying up to that A flat, you have to do these things in order to make sure everything sounds really close together. The intro, even, just having the scale just go, you know, it's all of those notes being introduced to you all at once, bombarding you right out the gate with all of that information. So you're kind of aware the second you start the song what you're going to be hearing. It kind of plants that seed of expectation in your head of what I'm about to listen to. It gives you all of the prerequisite information that you can then start to process before we get into the rest of it. And some of that, half the song before it even shows up. We're like a minute in by the time some of those even become relevant. This is really cool. I don't want to yap about this too much. I have been already yapping about this one too much, and I need to get to the other one. So I'm going to stop my yapping there, but that's why that song sounds so cool. How close it is chromatically, and having that dark tension in there that is only broken by having this like jaunt between the octaves. And that's what keeps the song feeling a little bit bouncy and almost playful, almost like that was the point of the song's name, right? Well, like I said, I need to get onto the second one, so let's do that, shall we? Ooh. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's a little different. He's using the same principles. Yep. Still very much that close chromatic stuff. Yep. Ooh. 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 This one's kind of silly too. I thought the first one was going to be the silly one, but these both have that whimsical quality. Ooh. Ooh. And I love it when they do the halftime. They bring in like the kit. Oh, hell yeah. Speak of the devil. That's just a fun little transition there. And there's more of those chromatics. They're really leaning into that with this sound, which is great. A little sound design of like the giggling, I think. I think that was giggling. It sounded like it. Ooh. Leaving it on the high, too. No resolution. All right. Okay, cheeky little shits, I hear you. All right, it is getting dangerously late in the night. I want to get into this one. There's no way I'm going to be able to dive into everything I want to about this one. It is way too complicated. The last one took me a little while, but it was easier than this one. This one goes so much deeper into music theory and everything that it has to do with it. It's moving too fast. There are way too many chords in here, and after about 5 minutes of me trying to get some of them, which I think most of them are like sharps and like weird minor ones that are just, again, moving way too quick compared to the other song, that it's just like, I cannot. I'm not a professional music theorist. I don't actually know the piano, and I do not have perfect pitch. So hearing this sort of thing is overwhelming when I start to hear it. And unless I have ample time, I can't really dive into exactly why. All I can really tell you about this one is that it takes everything the last song did and pulls it up to an 11. The one part I actually did take the time to figure out was just because I love that. So it's a B flat, and an A. That's it. That's all it is. Ba, 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 ba. It's just fun, you know, a little bit of an interlude there to brighten the spirit just a smidge. And I love the relationship it has, but everything else is just way too much. Frankly, it sounds really cool. I love the way it sounds. I really wish I had more time tonight. It is, I kid you not, like 11 p.m. There's no way I'm going to spend an hour getting this shit done, figuring out every single thing. I have to go to bed at some point, and I still have to edit these tonight, so I cannot yap as much as I would like about these, but this song moves so much more. It also uses a lot of weird other like notes in here that I just could not quite figure out. It's probably using a bunch of like flat fives and sevenths in here. While sevenths aren't necessarily something I would ever call complicated, flat fives definitely start to knock on that door of how many of them are there and what do they do to the rest of the structure of the song and what chords you can go to. Because when you take a flat five, you now open the door to other chords that might not be even within the same key. And that's kind of the issue for this one, is that I don't think this song is in the same key as the other one, so immediately I have to kind of start at square one. Aside from it sounding kind of similar in tone and approach, there's just too much to figure out for me tonight. I really wish I had more time, but this does happen sometimes. We're just like, I jump into it and I want to do more music theory stuff, but I just started recording too late in the day and I cannot justify doing this and spending my time until 2 or 3 a.m. to edit to be able to get these out. I just can't. I have to sleep at some point. But I do love the energy of this one. I love that it takes the last song, it just completely dials it up. I'm pretty sure they even dialed up the key for this one too, and they just added more. It like double timed everything except for the spots where it obviously goes halftime, it just cranks it all up. It brings it to another layer. It breaks the threshold open, and it's just like, hey, we gotta do even more to this one. And I know that there is the relationship of these, of one of them being like the battle theme and one of them being the boss theme, so that totally tracks. With that energy in mind, you would start with something a little bit less aggressive, I suppose, and then evolve it into something like this, which is not only faster, but heavily more complex and a lot more structurally dense than the prior one. But who am I kidding? Nobody watches me yap anyway. Nobody's here. Nobody's watching this. Say something in the comments if you made it this far. I don't care what. Say like a hot dog if you made it this far in the video the whole time through, listening to me yap like this. But like I said, I need to go to bed at some point, so that's going to be now. Thank you all so very much for watching. Sorry I could not do more, truly. I really hate it when I have to do this in a video, but it does happen, like I said. So either way, you want me to get to something else from Arknights, by all means, drop in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those, hopefully with more time next time. Or if you want to guarantee something, much like Para did for these ones, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships where you can force me to listen to something. It doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, none of that matters. That's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!